Hi Year 7s, I've just made this video for you to help you out with structuring your essay. For some of you this may be the first time that you're writing an essay, and if so, I don't want you to feel nervous. Essay writing is actually, it's not difficult, but you do need to follow a very particular structure, and I can help you to do that. So if you've got your notebook, I really recommend having your notebook out while you watch this video so you can write down any questions that you might have, and then you can ask me those questions in class. Otherwise, it might be also a good idea to watch this video with a parent or an older sister or brother or a guardian, someone that can actually help you understand some of the ideas in the video if you are confused. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy, and it'll help you with your essay. So first up, I want to talk about introductions. So when you start your essay, you're going to start off with an introduction paragraph. The purpose of your introduction is simply to introduce your contention. Now, if you remember, contention is just the opinion that you have on a particular issue. So whatever issue that you're writing about in your essay, you want to make sure that your contention is very clear at the beginning of your introduction. This lets the reader know exactly what your essay is going to be about. After you've explained your contention, you're going to summarize your main arguments that will form your body paragraphs later on in your essay. So you'll summarize your main arguments. After that, you're going to get straight into your first paragraph and start your essay officially. If you have any questions about introduction, definitely write them down now and let me know. But I think one thing that's really good to remember about introductions is that they're not meant to be really, really long. So you want to make sure that you're keeping it very short and clear. So concise would be a good word for that. So short and clear, that's just all that concise means, because your introduction shouldn't have a huge amount of information in it that should be in your body paragraphs. Your body paragraphs make up the majority of your essay. So moving on to body paragraphs. With a body paragraph, you're going to explain the argument that you're going to make that will support your contention. And in your paragraph, you include examples, explanations, and evidence to help your reader understand why your argument is one that they should also agree with. So you'll have persuasive techniques in your body paragraphs. You'll explain your argument that you're stating, and you'll give evidence to convince the reader to agree with you. Now, body paragraphs can be, because they are the majority of your essay, they can be a little bit difficult to structure sometimes, but not so if you follow this device. So there is a literary device called Peel, which will help you understand how to actually write this essay. So Peel starts with P, which stands for paragraph point. So your paragraph point is your argument. What is your argument? What is your paragraph going to actually be about? This needs to be at the very beginning of your paragraph. It shouldn't come halfway through, because you want your reader to know from the very beginning what the argument is that you'll be proving. After this, you've got your explanation. So you need to explain how your paragraph point links to your contention. How does your argument that you're presenting prove that your contention is true, your contention is correct? And of course, you also need to provide evidence. So that second E is the evidence that backs up your argument. So why should I believe you? Why should the reader believe you? You need to be able to provide this evidence in order to convince the reader that your argument is sound, that it makes sense. And lastly, you finish with an L. So the L is your link to your contention. After writing your paragraph, you'll find that you've written quite a bit, and you need to remind your reader of what your overall contention was. So your link will bring the reader's attention back to the contention that you wrote at the very beginning of your essay in your introduction, and reminding them what it is you're actually trying to prove. So I'm actually going to give you a bit of an example of Peel in action, because it can be hard sometimes just to understand what someone's saying to you. It's good to actually see it. So for an example, I'm writing an essay and my contention is that students should not have to wear a school uniform. So that's nice and simple. In my first paragraph, my paragraph point might be that uniforms are expensive to buy. So that's an argument that I might make, that students should not have to wear a school uniform. Now, of course, I need to explain how the fact that uniforms are expensive means that students should not have to wear them. So next is my explanation. Many parents have to go without nice things in order to afford their child's uniform. Nice and simple, but it makes that connection between my argument and my contention. I need to back this up. I need to give my readers some facts, some evidence, explaining why they should agree with me. So I've stated that uniforms are expensive. I need to prove it. The average cost of a secondary female student's school uniform in winter is $400. Now, I actually found this information online. I went to a credible website. Now, I'll talk about what that means in just a moment. And I found this information on the Parliament of Victoria website that told me the average cost of uniforms across the board. Now, if I was referencing this in my essay, what I would do is I would take the URL, I'd copy and paste the URL of the website, and I would put that in my reference list at the end of my essay. It's very important that you guys do that as well, because I need to know where you found your information. Now, what I mean by a credible website is a website where I can verify that the person who provided this information knows what they're talking about. So an example of a not a credible website would be Wikipedia. The reason being is that Wikipedia is created, the content on Wikipedia is created by random people. Anyone, you could go on and add information to a Wikipedia site. Because of that, I can't verify that the person who wrote the information knows what they're talking about. So even if it sounds really, really good, you cannot reference Wikipedia in your essays, in any assignments that you do. Another one is YouTube. Unless you can identify exactly who is making the content for YouTube, I want you to try to avoid referencing YouTube. Okay, so referencing is really important. You use it much, much more later on in your schooling, and perhaps even at university if you decide to go to university. It's important that you get those skills down now and you don't get into the habit of referencing non-credible websites or books or those sort of things. So lastly, in my paragraph, I've got my link. My link will remind the reader what my overall contention is after writing my whole paragraph. So uniforms are sapping money from families, therefore they should be banned from schools. So in this sentence, I've reminded the reader what my argument is. Uniforms are sapping money from families. So remember, my paragraph point was that uniforms are expensive. Therefore, that links together these two ideas. They should be banned from schools. So this link helps my reader to see that yes, this argument overall does prove that students should not have to wear uniforms to school. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to write them down. You can always email them to me if you're working on this at home, or you can wait till we're in class and you can ask me then. So lastly, we've got our conclusion. Now, in your conclusion, you need to go over the points that you've made in your essay, and you need to finish strong. You finish with a strong sentence. I'm going to leave that pretty vague for now. I'm not going to tell you what to write in that last sentence because that's entirely up to you. If you've already written a solid essay, if you've filled out your paragraphs the way that I've just kind of laid out for you, then you shouldn't need to put in any new information into your conclusion, but you do want your reader to remember you. So it's really important that you think about the kind of persuasive techniques that you can use in your essay to make it really effective, and perhaps that last sentence could feature a persuasive technique that helps the reader to remember your essay and what you were trying to say. A conclusion is very similar to an introduction in that it just needs to be quite short. It doesn't have to be very, very long. Going over the points that you've made in your essay, you don't want to just repeat yourself again and again. You want to phrase them differently. So say them in a different way. Don't just repeat exactly what you wrote earlier on. Okay, guys, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can always ask me in class. Like I said, you can email me as well. But I hope this has been helpful, and feel free to look over the video if there's any particular area of an essay that you're not feeling super comfortable with or confident with. Good luck, and I will see you in class.